Welcome to K-Drama School. I'm your host, Grace Jung, and class is now in session. The show The School Nurse Files. This came in as a request from a K-Drama School podcast listener, so thank you for your request. And you guys, if you guys ever have a K-drama request, just name it. Just mention it in the comments on Instagram, or you can email me at kdramaschool@gmail.com. But I'm reading them, I'm listening, I hear you. So just let me know if there's something you want me to cover, or if you guys have a question or something like that. The School Nurse Files is a Netflix original, and this came out as it's not even written as a K-drama. It's written as like a webisode or like a web series. But you can tell that this show is very much a online internet drama. It's not for television, it's not for cable or for broadcasting, because they curse a lot. I was actually really surprised by how much swearing this show has. Like, oh my goodness, Chung Yumi, I didn't know that you have such a potty mouth, but man, does she have a potty mouth. This show has several elements that make it wildly unique, but it is perhaps the most unique Korean drama I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, it is really bad shit. It is really out there. It is based on a book written by Jung Se-rang called The School Nurse Files, or School Nurse An Eun-young. And it is about this woman named Eun-young who can see spirits or aura, but they're in the shape of jellies. So she can basically understand or gauge your energy through it looks like a physical specimen before her eyes. So she's a clairvoyant, she's a gifted person, she's like a psychic person, she's somebody who has a sixth sense, and she is serving within her community as a school nurse to watch over high school kids. So that is her service. And then you have this young man, Hong In-pyo, played by Nam Ju-hyuk, who is in so many Korean dramas. But he has this special force field that is protecting him. So An Eun-young is getting a lot of energy or rejuvenation or recharge through him by being physically close to him. There's a character I find really fascinating on this show, Baek Hye-min, the student who comes in and she eats the little mites, right? There's like a mite invasion. She's not even a she. I mean, I guess it would be closer to refer to them as they, them, theirs. This is a non-gender binary being who comes into existence because of a need. Like, there's a need on the campus and they come into existence, right? Like, there's a very queer gender sort of look about this character, Hye-min. I thought it was fascinating that this person comes into being for the first time as a woman. And so they're basically saying I'm genderless, but this is my first time in a woman's body, right? So you have all this trans queer sort of suggestions, not even suggestions, it's part of the character points. And I thought that was very progressive and unique and interesting. I thought it was a fascinating way to explore this topic of queerness. And there's queer love. You have the student Radi, fall in love with Hye-min, and they end up together, right? And they also get persecuted at one point on the show for being lesbians, right? People question them and call them crazy, but Radi is very, as she claims to be, she's radical, right? I don't know, it's got so many layers to it, but it's such a short series. It's only 6 episodes. This show is directed by a very well-known Korean woman director named Lee Kyung-mi. She wrote and directed one of my favorite movies, which is called Crush and Blush, and it stars Kong Hyo-jin, one of my favorite actresses of all time. Crush and Blush is like just as bizarre of a movie as this show, School Nurse Files. It's a really strange movie. Um, it kind of reminded me of like one of Park Chan-wook's earlier films. He did this movie called I'm a Cyborg and That's Okay, which totally flopped in the box office. Like nobody talks about it, but it's got a huge like Hallyu star base. Like Rain is in it, P is in it, and you have Im Soo-jung as the co-star. So you have these huge star actors, and they're in this bizarre movie. And Park Chan-wook and Lee Kyung-mi, they have a kind of a relationship, like mentor-mentee sort of relationship. But I love Lee Kyung-mi's unique style. She's definitely a stylistic filmmaker. I would say her style leans into the gross. Like you have gross humor, right? You find that oftentimes in Nickelodeon. In Nickelodeon shows like SpongeBob has gross humor, like Ren and Stimpy has gross humor. I'm not sure if Lee Kyung-mi's style is gross humor per se, but she's definitely fascinated with the gross. She's fascinated with like stickiness, fluids. Yeah, she's into that kind of realm, and you definitely get a lot of that through sound, through imagery, and it's like, well, what does it signify? What does these sort of creatures that she sees, that this character sees, that nobody else sees, like what does this signify? What is this significant for? You have one of the greatest actresses of all time on this show playing a shaman, okay, and that's Moon Sori. One of the best performances that I've ever seen is in a film by Lee Chang-dong called Oasis, and Moon Sori was so committed in that movie. It's an amazing film. If you ever have the time, please check out Oasis by Lee Chang-dong. It's one of my favorite films. Yeah, so you have Chung Yumi and you have Moon Sori and you have Nam Ji-hyuk. This is like fucking star power right there. And they're all such amazing actors, such gifted actors. And I thought for such a bizarre show, these three held their own. I thought they did a great job. I think this show is way too weird to ever become mainstream. Like, even though it was on Netflix for a couple years, I avoided it. Like, I tried watching it for a little bit and I was like, no, this is too fucking weird. And I stopped. And then once I got the comment, I decided to go back and re-explore it. And I'm glad that I got the suggestion because I ended up quite enjoying many, many facets of it. But yeah, Lee Kyung-mi, really, really, I mean, she's an auteur. I would give Lee Kyung-mi auteur status for this show. And yeah, check out Crush and Blush if you guys ever have the time. I'm sure you could find it on Drama Cool or something like that. But it's a really weird and fascinating movie. I'm into the weird. If you're gonna be weird, be weird. Like if you're gonna be fucking afraid and just copy somebody else, then yeah, you're not being brave. Lee Kyung-mi is a brave auteur. She's a brave director, and she's got chops. I give her credit. Today, I'm going to be talking to Nalini Sharma. She is a Los Angeles-based clown, actress, filmmaker, writer, amazing performer, improv comedian. She's really talented. I met her through Mike Rose. Mike Rose is also on this podcast. And we were just having dinner, but like there was something about her that I was just like, she's hilarious. I want to get to know her better, right? And I know she has a show at the Elysian Theater next month, November 21st. And I believe November 20th and 21st. Tickets will go on sale soon, so keep a lookout for that if you're in Los Angeles. Look for Nalini Sharma's name at the Elysian Theater and buy your ticket to her one-woman show. It should be amazing. Let's talk to Nalini Sharma.
Yeah, happy to be here. I like your professional VO booth.
Thank you. It's my closet.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
my closet. I
Uh,
think there's a slight lag, but it shouldn't be too bad. Um,
Is there?
this platform's tricky sometimes. Yeah, it's very, very slight. It should be okay. Um,
Okay.
all right. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. You know, mid Friday afternoon, little kickback. So I'm glad like this is here to like pump me back into the rest of the day, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I get it. It's sort of the tricky thing about like the freelance artist's life. It's,
Yeah.
like I'm responsible for my energy levels, and it's like sometimes I don't feel like bringing it up, right? I just don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. I
I
mean,
totally
there's
get it.
like, yeah, I was like, should I take a nap? But then if I take a nap, like,
Uh-huh.
sometimes the whole day is gone. It's
Uh-huh.
just,
Yeah,
kind of,
I
I don't
know the
know. And today
feeling.
it's like a little cloudy. I feel like watching a movie.
Mm-hmm.
One of those days.
Totally. Yeah.
So
What
it's
what
like,
movie would you have seen?
um, good question. I actually have like a list of movies that I've been wanting to see. Like,
Uh-huh.
you know what movie I saw the other day was this is so embarrassing. I haven't seen it before, but Apocalypse Now. Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, have you
How'd
seen
you
it?
like it?
It's really intense.
Um, it is very intense. And see, it's like one of those films that it's like homework, like life's homework. And I've tried to watch that movie a total of 12 times in my life, and I could never get through it. I
I
have to
also
find I'm still determined to do it. It's like, it's like Apocalypse Now, The
yeah,
Godfather, The
yeah,
Shining. There are
yeah.
these movies, and I watched The Shining last year, so that's
That's
something.
good.
But yeah, Apocalypse Now, it's still. How
That
was the
one was
experience other than it being intense?
I mean, it took me a couple tries to like really like finish it,
Yeah.
and it did feel towards the end. I was like, yeah, this is life homework. You put it perfectly. I'm like, yeah, it's not even just cinematic homework, it's like life homework, you know. Um
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
but I mean, in the beginning, like I really enjoyed like the start of it all because it's shot on film, you know?
Yeah.
And I like
Mhm.
really, really miss things being shot on film. Like, even
Yeah.
though I've never shot anything on film, you know, in in our
Yeah.
generation, in my
Yeah.
experience. But like I was feeling so
Yeah.
nostalgic about like those days or like that era of movie making a little bit.
Yes.
Uh it felt
Mhm.
more like there was
Mhm.
no like shade, there was no like, in this like
Hmm.
the digital world, you have this sort of like layer on the actors and on
Mm.
the people, but in film you don't, and it's like a little bit more raw and it's more intense and it's more vulnerable, like in a way. um
Mm.
so I don't know,
Yeah.
I kind of wish
Yeah.
we had that.
Yeah.
uh,
I mean, it's still available, but it's costly. And
yes.
the the way to do it, I think, is you have to find the right producer who's willing to like go to bat for you to make it happen. And I
Yeah.
think it's still possible, but it's just like, even finding the DP who knows how to work with that kind of material. It's another thing. And
Yeah.
have you seen The Master?
Yeah. Yeah. With Joaquin
Right?
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, oh my
Uh-huh.
God.
And
What
Philip
a movie.
Seymour. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What a movie. Yeah.
what a
But
movie.
he was like, what a movie. Like, Paul Thomas Anderson had the luck of having this producer who said,
Mhm.
okay, you want to shoot this on 72 millimeter? Sure, let's do it. And
Mhm.
he fucking did it. And
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's doable. It's doable. It's just, like, yeah, don't
Yeah.
give up the dream. Do it. It will one day happen for you because, you
Yeah.
have this romantic feeling for it. You have a love for
Yeah.
it. So why not,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you know what? I won't give up on it. I won't give up on this dream, Grace. Like,
yes,
I'll hold on to it.
keep
I'll hold
it.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someday.
It would be more badass. Yeah, it would be more badass for a woman to do it, because like um like even like the Coen brothers, like that movie,
Yeah.
it's like a really sad movie, but fuck. It has Oscar Isaac in it. I think you know this film. Um
Oh.
you know what
Should
I'm
I look it
referring
up?
to?
I do. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
terrible with names,
And
but
John Goodman is in it, and anyway, they
yeah.
shot that on they shot that on 16 millimeter, like
Mm,
it's these like unique opportunities that seem uh available to these like white auteur dude bros,
mhm,
but
mhm,
it's like any
mhm.
any cinephile, any filmmaker nerd has that dream, and it's like
Totally.
when a woman has it, it's like it should be, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
fucking don't give it up. Do
Oh
it.
my God. Yeah. You know what? You've given me new life. Forget Friday afternoon nap. I'm gonna go make a shot
Yeah.
list.
Yes, do it, do it, do it. You could even write down like what size of the film you want, is
Yeah.
it like which one? You could pick, and
Yeah.
fucking one of the things that I loved about that Coen Brothers movie, the one that they shot on 16, is like they hired a French DP, who's
Mm,
like worked on 16 millimeter films
mhm.
before, and he they did a test shoot, and then the DP was like, "Oh, I did this incorrectly. I need to do it again." So he does another test shoot, and he's like, "Oh, I fucked it up again. I have to do it again." He does another one. And then he was like, "This whole time I've been doing it correctly. I just forgot that this is what 16 millimeter looks like."
Oh.
Because um you know, I don't know if you remember, but that movie has like sort of like a dreamy, sort of foggy glow around it. It's like a
Yeah.
dreamy sort of glow.
Yeah.
And that's what 16 that's like a quality
Yeah.
of 16 millimeter. And the DP was just like, our eyes have forgotten that this is the norm, and so it looks like a mistake. Isn't that
Oh my
fascinating?
God. That's that is fascinating. The whole movie, people are watching and like, it's foggy.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
story is great, but it's like foggy. Like, can you imagine,
Yeah, was there a fog machine the whole
Yeah, was
time? Yeah.
it
Who was the gaffer that was fucking this shit up?
Whatever.
But no,
Someone needed a ring light.
that was the look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what were they doing? Yeah, 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 yeah. No, but that's how it was supposed to look. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
man, like pick the size of the film that you want.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
excited for you.
exciting. Yeah,
Hmm.
I would love man, you
I
gotta write
watched
a script.
you gotta write a script that'll
Be
maximize the potential of
Yes,
that film.
yes, yes, totally.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God, look at us giving birth right now.
I know,
It's
I literally for those listening, I have my hands up, like, warrior mode. Oh my god,
Yeah,
yeah.
fingers spread wide open.
Yeah,
Yes, man.
totally.
Let's light
I'm gonna, like,
incense.
write
Let's light
furiously.
incense.
Yeah, where are the candles
Yeah, yeah,
at?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Light them up. Yeah. Gather all the crystals. Fucking do it right
Exact
now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Dear Lord, give me a
Mhm.
brilliant story idea right now.
Yeah, yeah. Let it come. Let it strike us.
Yeah.
Um, I watched while you were working on your microphone thing, it gave me some time to watch your short film, Garbage.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I loved it. It was great.
Dang. Yeah, that was a few
I
years
was
ago.
like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, this is weird. I like it.
Yes. I'm always like waiting for people to say the word weird because I don't want to feed it to people, you know? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a
Oh,
weird
it's
slice
great.
of life. Yeah. Yeah. And I
Mhm.
made
Mhm.
that with my former comedy partner at the time. It was also lovely. It was so fun. We shot that in a day. Talk about like guerrilla filmmaking. Like we didn't have shooting
Yeah.
permits. We didn't have like, our
Yeah.
DP. Oh my God. It's a brilliant DP. He's now blowing up. But he shot that on this
Yeah.
like dinky ass camera and
Yeah.
made it look so good. I mean, I say
Yeah.
dinky ass, but it's like a Panasonic, like a handheld, like this thing. And
Mhm.
it was just so, and our producer, who's actually the DP's wife now, um, was so on top of it.
Mhm.
That little short, like that one day thing, really, I was like, man, I love the movies and I love making comedic films. Like, you know what I mean? Just stories,
Yeah.
I just love the whole process, beginning to end. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is fun. I thought it was really no, like all of that is yeah, like shooting in a day because it the look of it is very like high quality. I was like this looks really beautiful, like
Yeah.
even the framing, like those more like the long distance shots of like you guys on the bench like calling
Yeah.
out each other, it was all just like really beautifully framed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like both of your characters are so like relatable, like it's
Mhm.
like everybody's had that situation where they get into a fight with like a partner and it's like like that rage that you feel like
Yeah.
it sucks, but then they do come back. Like you do have to get back in the car, like that is really you have to go back home eventually, that's
Yeah.
relatable. But even like when your character turns around and just starts a
Yeah.
fight with somebody else because she's in a bad mood,
I
like
know.
that too is like so human and relatable. And I love the way that the other character like handled it,
I
it's
know.
like this is a wrestle but also like it's almost as if like because we all have like that bench character, we all have somebody like her in us, it's like
Mhm.
your ego feels like kicking and punching and screaming right now, but
Mhm.
what your ego really needs is to be held real tight and fed some fucking chicken or
Yeah.
something.
It is so
Right.
true. Yeah, absolutely. And it was. I mean, I think you like kind of like nailed it with the ego battle. And that's something, obviously all of us face. And me is, especially like I had, kind of really had to work through that. Like, God, can I just
Yeah.
like tell myself it's like, all right, like yeah, and it was really
Right.
interesting. Like I love the relationship with the two women, like and that mood when you just want to
Mhm.
pick a fight and you're like, you know what? Today's the day. Today's the day I
Mhm.
can kick anyone's ass. I'll take it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
you don't know what you're
Yeah.
capable of. You don't know what you're not capable of, your limitations, and then people surprise you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like a strange and pleasant surprise. It's like this lady is like it's like okay, she's engaging you. It's almost as she has like no choice because, you're your character is just like focused,
Yeah,
determined to say she's giving you a look and she's asking for it. But, obviously, like your
exactly.
character's just like, I just want to fucking kick somebody's ass
Yeah.
and get into this weird tussle, and then it turns into something else. And that's actually that moment was very clown like, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was
No, totally. It
floating
was like the
around, but I was
beginnings
like, this,
of, I think that was before I started clowning. And that was also when I was like, man, I really love whatever's happening here. It's such an innocent but
mhm,
intense moment, which is so clown. It's like innocent and
it is so
uh,
clown.
monstrous at the same time, which is what I
Yes,
love about the art form.
exactly,
So, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me more about your clown journey, because I just know from your Instagram, you have Golier's name there. He's a very big
Oh,
name in the clown world. But yeah, tell me about your clown journey a little bit.
yeah, totally. It started, I mean, I was an improviser first, like every
Hmm.
like LA, it's LA was the I
Hmm.
feel like Chicago and then LA became like the golden age of improv.
Hmm.
And you know
Hmm.
I wasn't part of the New York scene really. I was doing theater when it was there, but in LA I started doing improv and I fell
Hmm.
in love with it. And years go by, and then one of my so my duo, we used to perform with this other duo called Jetzo, that was with
Hmm.
Chad Damiani and Juzo, two incredible
I
clowns.
love Juzo. Yeah.
Juzo,
Hmm.
uh, I mean, what a soul. And
What a
I
soul.
remember, yeah, I remember watching those two, and those two used to work so great together. And and I remember
Yeah.
being like, huh, this is different. It's the same, but it's different, like same
Yeah.
source, but it's different. And just loved, like, when I watched Juzo, like, and Chad, like how present they were. And it was a different level than improvisers, the presence. And there was this trust. And I was like, what
Uh-huh.
is that? And then I
Yeah.
saw Natalie Palamides' her first one woman show, Laid. Did you ever see that?
Hmm. I
And
haven't. I only saw her Netflix special.
oh, Nate, which is her second one. But I saw her very first one that
Yeah.
she did is Laid. It was just about this e- egg hatching. And
Uh-huh.
and it went into this whole thing. And I remember sitting in that audience and I remember being like, I don't know what the fuck I just saw, but I want to be able to do that. Like, I just, and, you know, and I've told Natalie this too. And it's so funny how far, yeah, how I'm now a clown. Um, I'd never imagined, when you say things like that and then it actually like happens. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And it's so funny, and I just remember thinking that. And then all of it, and I kept doing the stuff, grinding and all that. And then Chad, one out of nowhere, like one day, was like, Knowles, I'm doing this like live direct. I live direct these clowns, and do you want to just jump in the fire, see what you think, clowning? And I'm like,
Mm.
sure, yeah, because I had remembered Natalie's show and their show, and I was like, yeah. And I remember that night, when I was performing, Chad had sort of guides you into like clowning, and I was performing that, and I was like, yeah, I knew it. Like, this is it. Like,
Yeah.
this is the
Yeah.
shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's so raw and so, just, you have to be there. You have to be present 100%. And if you're not, you miss a
Hmm.
moment. And
Yeah.
I just feel like clowning doesn't allow you to do that. You can't miss a moment. And
Right.
oh man, I was hooked. After that night, I was hooked. And then I, of course, heard about Golier and the Idiot Workshop, and I just kind of like, bumbled around a little bit. And then Golier was on my bucket list. Then the pandemic hit. And a year in, I think I kept doing like stuff on Zoom, like clowning workshops on Zoom. And then I was like, you know what? In
Yeah.
2021, I was like, I'm going to go. I'm just going to go. And so I went to Golier and then got hooked. I was like, yup, this is still like, this is what I want to do. And then, yeah, spent months
Yeah.
there. I ended up spending months there. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's sort of how. And then now
Amazing.
I came back
Amazing.
and I had ideas. I got ideas for my solo show there. And
Yeah.
when I came back, I started kind of being a sub for a clown zoo here that they perform in, and then really
Yeah.
kind of honing in on my solo show too, spending energy on that. So that's sort of where I'm at so far.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Amazing. I love that. I love that, you said that you were gonna do it and then you ended up doing it, but it's like today we said you're gonna shoot on film and that's gonna happen too, It's
Oh
gonna
my
fucking happen,
gosh.
right? Like
Like, oh my God, I cannot wait. I don't know when that's going to be. You know what I mean? Because it did take years from when I saw Natalie's first show. It took like 6 years later, I'm here. But
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so I don't
It
know
flies
when.
by. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, oh my
Yeah.
God, time
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
fly. And, you know,
It's gonna
I'm
fly
so
by.
like, it's so
Yeah.
funny with age and everything. I'm like, I don't know what time is. I don't know. I'm like, oh, I'm still alive. Great. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, no, no. It's like I love like those oh, speaking of movies, maybe you've seen it, Arrival, you know that film?
I love Arrival. Was
It's
that shot
such a
on
good
film?
movie, right?
It's
And
so good.
I mean, it's so beautiful. I don't think it was shot on film, but it has a kind of a look. But I love like what they say about time in that movie. Like time is not like
Mhm.
linear.
Yeah.
Time kind of runs in all different directions.
Hmm.
Um Time doesn't just move forward, it moves like in all different directions. And I was
Hmm.
like, "Oh my God, that's so fucking profound." And I just been kind of going with that. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, man. Time as
Yeah.
language. That is fucking next level shit. I
Oh,
love it.
so next
And
level.
right.
Yes. We're not
So
even high
so
right now. This is,
it's like
yeah.
the no, this is just like this is just
This is
us.
life.
This is just how we are. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is just us. Uh no, like the excitement that we feel for the prospect of you shooting on film that we feel now, right? It's like we're just
Buzzing.
feeling it
Yeah.
because it's about to happen in however
Yeah.
however much time will take. But yeah, like y- you know, I know a lot of people go to Golier and I know a lot of people train with him. What is like the one big takeaway from that experience that informed your clowning and that
Mhm.
informs your because I plan on going to see your solo show. It's next month, right? It's in November.
Yes, November 20th and
Yeah,
21st.
yeah.
Sunday, Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, I plan on seeing your show. I was like so excited because when we were having dinner for Mike's birthday,
Yeah.
um, you were seated kind of like a little bit away from me, but like I was like, she's funny. Like there's something about her that's like she's like she's like unique. I was like, there's something unique about her. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah.
was like,
My mother says the
I
same
wanna yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Except in a
Yeah,
different tone.
yeah, yeah.
You're unique, hun.
No, no, no. No, you're this is like a lovable unique. It's like I was like, I was like, whatever she's working on, I want to go and see it. You know, it was like that kind of thing. And they were like,
Oh,
oh, like solo show, solo show. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go see that. Like, I already was determined. Um,
amazing.
but yeah, what was like the big takeaway from your training with Golier that's like informing your clown sort of, you know, MO today?
Hmm. I think like the most sort of recent one that as I was like developing the solo show and all that, because I know that I already have like heart and I have the funny. Um,
Hmm.
but one of the things he really like harps on is not to be boring. And it's a
Mm,
very like kind of direct in your face, like, don't be boring. And like at
right.
first, even as comedians, when someone says that to you, you're like, okay, like, you kind of like clamp up a little bit, or there could be a tendency to
Yeah.
like shut down. Um,
Yeah.
so my biggest kind of, I kept being like, wait a minute, now let's flip that around. Like, yeah, like fucking challenge yourself. Don't be fucking boring. Have an interesting idea. And then if it fails, great. Okay.
Right.
Well, it failed. And then you
Right.
own up to it. Okay? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um it was
Yeah.
it so it wasn't the
No.
lesson like I feel like he was teaching was not the statement of don't be boring. It's like, okay, well, how do you handle when someone tells you don't be boring? Or, you know,
Yeah.
like what is that? Like the step beyond it. Um and that's
Yeah.
entertainment. Like to entertain is
Mm.
to not be boring. And
Right.
so that's something I'm always like thinking. I'm like every 10 seconds. I think I don't know if Golier was saying
Mm.
this, someone every 10 seconds, something new, a little bit fresh. And it doesn't have to be big, it can
Yeah.
be subtle, but uh
Yeah.
it's exciting because it's to me, because our what brings me joy is the audience having a good time. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's, I think, one of my
Totally.
biggest takeaways right now is something as I work on my show or anything, I'm just like, all right, entertain, like, or keep it, keep the ball up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh. For
don't
sure.
go into
For
like,
sure. Yeah.
self-involved, that kind of stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it starts to get
Yes. 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 Right. Right.
yeah.
When when the performer is up there and then they start falling into their own little hole. And it's
Yeah,
like, why are you abandoning us? Why are you abandoning the audience? You know?
exactly.
Um, it's it's actually a really good practice for people who deal with like trauma because people with trauma, they'll oftentimes disassociate. Like
Mm,
they'll do it in a million a million different ways, but they will do it. And
mm,
that's not being
mm,
present. That's going somewhere else, usually to
mhm,
the past.
mhm.
And or they're escaping. It's a flight moment. They're escaping the moment by going somewhere else. And as you say, it's like you're gonna miss out on something. Something could be
Mhm.
happening. You're gonna miss out on something. And being a clown is always being grounded and engaging in the game of the moment, and
Yes,
also maintaining joy, because disassociating is not joy. That's disengaging, and that's, you know, numbing out. um
totally.
and it's almost like you're abandoning your life. Yeah, yeah, yeah. uh
Yeah,
so, like, I don't know, there's something so powerful
yeah.
about clowning. I took just one clown workshop at the LA Clown School with David Bridle, and it was like
Mm.
so like uh eye-opening for me because I'm a stand-up. I'm just a stand-up comedian.
Mhm.
That's what I am.
Mhm.
And like I'm not trained in improv. Like I don't know anything about, any of that. But like yeah, I was like, "Oh, it's not just about me up here using my words." Like the training was so important for me in that they were like, "Don't talk. You can use your expressions physically or you
Mhm.
can make sounds, but you don't get to use your words, you
Uh-huh.
know? So
Yep.
you're just committed to being either an a toddler or an animal, and that's all you can be, you know?
Yes.
And and
Yeah.
and those two beings, a toddler or animal, are the things that create the most joy for audiences. And
Yeah.
so for me it was like such a profound experience. And yeah, I love what you say, like being in the moment. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's so
I like
true. I
that.
mean, everything you're saying is absolutely resonating with me as well. And perhaps why I kind of also really got stuck, kind of got addicted or whatever this is to clowning or drawn to it is because it just does force you to just not abandon your life. Um, you know what I mean? Like, uh, and I remember you speaking of dinner the other day, like I remember being just very present at dinner that day. Like I was very like,
Yeah.
really enjoying Mike and like, Eric and these new people in front of me and the food. I was just like taking everything in. You know what I mean? And I think that's why like my spirit, you saw it. You were like, that's my pure spirit. And that's why I feel like you were like, she's
Yeah.
unique. Well, because I was just
Yeah, yeah,
present.
yeah.
I wasn't doing anything, you know?
Yeah.
I was just
Right.
taking in my world. Um,
Mhm.
that evening,
Mhm.
particularly, I remember because I mean, I've also been on the flip side where I'm not present, where I am escaping and I'm in my head and it's miserable. One, it's miserable.
Yeah.
Two, other people are just like,
Yeah.
wow, are irritated by you, right? Like, I
Yeah.
feel like people are like,
Right.
oh
Right.
God, she's not here. What? That means they don't give a
Right.
shit about me. They don't give a shit about themselves. It's just
Right.
not a good feeling, all in all. Um,
Uh-huh.
so I do feel like it's totally helped me too as a human being. Um, just like, all right,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I'm at dinner.
that evening. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah.
what?
No, that's such a good life hack, you know? It's like, because oftentimes when we go out and we meet new people, or, it's like a friend's birthday, so it's like an event, or,
Yeah.
there's like, oh, like, what am I gonna say?
Yeah.
How am I gonna come off? Da 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 da. Like, that's fear of potential. That's anxiety. That's fear of whatever might happen. But rather than that, it's like you could always flip the switch and just say, I'm just going to ground myself in this moment with what is in front of me, which is
Yes.
what clowning is. That's all you can do. It's like whatever isn't fucking in front of you, that's all you have. Turn it into a game right now, you know? And,
Yeah.
it's like, that's a good
Totally.
life hack. That's genuinely a good life
Yeah.
hack. This is all I have. How can I turn this into a game? Um, and no, I was just laughing because, um, remember when I came back from the bathroom and I was like, oh my God, the bathroom here is so nice. And I kept going on and on and on.
Yes. That was unforgettable. Um Grace, were you in the handicap bathroom? so spacious. You're like, it was so spacious. Oh my God, there's like a ramp
Uh,
and I
so luxurious.
it's so luxurious. Wow, Mike, you picked an incredible spot. Oh.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that was so
oh my
funny.
god. And then
That is
Deirdre's like,
yeah.
that's the handicap bathroom. Like, you idiots, you fucking morons. I was like, oh my god.
I mean, that's
Oh my
so
god. I could
clown.
not
That's so
I
clown.
could
Like
not stop
walking
laughing.
into
I
like
was
this
like,
spacious thing and like taking it in and just being like, holy shit, this is five-star hotel service.
oh
You're
my
like, there's
god.
an elevator in
Oh,
the bathroom.
oh my god. It was
So
so
funny.
good.
That was so
I
good.
was like, that is so good. It's like, yeah, it's like I pranked myself and I was like,
Yeah.
that was so good. No, but like I had encouraged you to go to I was like, check out
Yeah.
the bathroom in here. Oh my gosh. And you went and you came back, you were like, it was really nice. And then Deirdre was like, that was a fucking
It's like
handicap stall. I
Tweedledee
was
and
like, oh no.
Tweedledum. Like you're like Tweedledee and you told Tweedledum to go check it out. And I was like, hell yeah. And uh then the straight person came out. And they were like, wow, you
Oh my god.
oh, that
Oh
was
my
so
god.
funny.
What
Oh,
a revelation. Yeah, so
I
good.
know.
Okay. Okay, so
Hmm.
are you trained in did you go to film school? Like what makes you such a film nerd? Like you're into the whole filmmaking process.
Oh,
Did you
I
go to
know.
film
I
school?
never went to film school. I never went to like any formal like well, I did go to like I mean, obviously I went to Emory University and I majored in bio. And I had uh then I went or my creative training was in New York. I did like a
Yeah.
Meisner like 2-year thing. But
Uh-huh.
I was just I've
Serious
always
acting
been
stuff.
yeah, serious acting stuff. But I've always been like I've loved the movies. I just love the movies. I'm one of those people I think, I pick up stuff as I go along. Um and
Yeah.
so with
Yeah.
filmmaking, I know I've said it prematurely, but I did this at Natalie's show too. So somehow this, you can build on skills and you learn and I do deep dive all the time. I'm definitely such a purist about learning. Um
Mm.
I don't like to cut corners or anything. So um when it comes to like
Mhm.
learning, yeah,
Yeah.
quite a typical nerd in that way. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
You have a passion for it.
yeah, yeah. Again, I think to me it comes with my connection to the audience. Like, whether you're watching a movie or a clown show, it's entertainment, and I want a story to be the most powerful as it can be. And that to me is exciting. Like, it's like a
Yes.
puzzle for me, It's like, okay, how can the puzzles
Yeah.
fit in the best way? Um,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Filmmaking, I feel like,
Yeah.
has all these other components too. Like you were saying, like
Oh
what
yeah.
story would hit that 16 millimeter? You know what I mean? What story
Yeah.
would the 16
Yeah.
millimeter like really be able to elevate, you know?
Yeah.
That someone
Yeah.
being like, yeah, 16 millimeter was the way to tell this, was part of the puzzle for this?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Or was it 72?
Exactly.
Or yeah, it's like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, everything is part of that
Yeah.
puzzle. So it's really exciting to me.
It is. And I think filmmaking is like puzzling pieces of individuals together, right? It's like, oh, like
Mhm.
so and so is so good at editing. So and so is so good with costume design, and this so and so is great with sound design. It's like it's like people puzzle, like
Yeah.
taking whatever skill that they're the absolute best in and then
Mhm.
making it connect with your vision. Um, that's what makes it so like fun and
Yeah.
also so challenging and at times so
Mhm.
heartbreaking because it's like
Mhm.
people, it's
Yeah.
individuals. But yeah, I also love cinema for that because it's like um they used to call like Hollywood a dream factory, right? Because
Mm.
a movie is like a dream. You're like
Mhm.
watching a dream, and you know, whatever you dream in your mind, it's like with film you could transfer that into a physical reality in the
Yeah.
physical space. And to
Yeah.
me, there's like nothing more like wild than that. It's so fucking wild. Yeah.
Yeah. That is, yeah,
Hmm.
totally. That's,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's part of the thing that I feel like drives us as, our creative people, that we're just like, ah,
Yeah.
everything that you don't see, we can see now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
I like that statement. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. 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 Um, okay. I do this on all of my podcasts, but I
Mhm.
usually do like a series of flashcard questions based on a specific Korean drama, and
Okay.
just just kind of knowing your aura, your general vibe,
Mhm.
I picked the weirdest Korean drama that K drama has ever seen. It is wildly distinct. It is unlike any other Korean drama that has ever existed. It's very, very uh, different and special. So
Awesome.
it's basic this is basically it's basically an improv game. So I just ask you, like, I just give you a scenario and
Mhm.
you are this character, and
Mhm.
what would you do if you were in this situation and these things are happening? So you just answer that. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So the show I'm basing this on is called The School Nurse Files, which is on Netflix.
Okay.
Let's say you're a school yeah, let's say you're a school nurse at a high school. Your name is Eunyoung,
Okay.
and you have this ability to see energies and aura, but
Mhm.
they are in the shape and form of like jellies and little jelly creatures and monsters. Like other
Ooh.
people can't see them, but you can see them. And you can
Mm,
also see that these jelly things do affect human beings, okay?
okay.
But you meet a male teacher at your school.
Mhm.
He's a high school teacher. His name is In Pyo, and he
Yeah.
has this like force field surrounding him, like a little bubble that surrounds him. And
Mm.
every time you go near him or you touch him, you can feel this like healing energy recharge you with like such extreme force and euphoria. But
Whoa.
he's practically a stranger, all right?
Yeah.
So even though you want to be close, you can't really be touching him all the time. What do you do?
Oh, and so I can't see what his jellies are, right? Like,
He has an aura around him, so it's
mhm.
protecting him from any jelly attacks. So he has like a
Mm.
protective shield around him at all times. Yeah.
Mhm. And it gives me energy when
Yeah, if you
I,
touch him, it gives you this euphoric healing energy, like you get high from it. Yeah.
whoa. Whoa. Okay. And so, yeah, amazing. Um, is it depleting him in any way?
Nope,
No.
not at all.
Okay. Well, I would say, like, first of all, want to marry him. So I'm gonna try to What if he's like healing me all the time? Like I want him around all the time. And so I'm
Yeah.
gonna probably try to seduce him in my own way. Um I
Yeah.
might like maybe take him to like a water feature, like I'm thinking like a lake, where
Uh-huh.
maybe underwater his like thing doesn't work, you know? His
Oh.
like energy shield doesn't work. And then I can we
Uh-huh.
can go slowly, like I would like start skinny dipping. Do they skinny dip in Korean dramas?
Oh my goodness.
Do
They
they?
should.
Um, you're like, uh, well, I just think,
They should start right now.
yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
email
yeah.
the producers. Um, yeah, and then I'd be like, I feel like his guard, quote unquote, is down, you know, and then that's
Mm-hmm.
where I'll make a
Mm-hmm.
little move. It's gonna be very subtle,
Oh my.
Yeah, and then
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my jellies will have a little clamp, if you will. And then he'll be addicted forever. And
Oh
then
my.
I think that
Okay.
might be really nice. Now, is the jelly thing the only superpower I have?
Is it okay, what I mean by jellies is they're they're just like creatures that are floating around all the time. Like
Yeah,
whatever aura or energy that people have, they exist in the form of jellies, or you see them in the form of jellies. Like if somebody has like a good vibe going, then they have these
yeah.
like nice cute jellies that are coming off, emanating off of them. If somebody is like in a bad shitty mood or they have evil intention, then there's like bad jellies in the shape of monsters like attacking other people and stuff. So you're able
Oh,
to see them is what your power is,
so,
and you
oh
can,
my gosh. So when I
yeah.
have taken him into the lake and we're both naked and his guard is down, um, I see his jelly, which is like okay, that came off wrong. Um I mean like the fantasy jelly. His jelly like
Oh,
rises
okay,
up.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like, attracted jelly to me is like rises up from the lake, you know what I mean? And like my good vibe jellies rise from the lake, and they both are like in the air, like, you know, kissing and like making out. And like we're just sort of like still and standing there, but our jellies are like above the lake, like
Going at
just
it.
like going at it. So that way it's like the humans are just sort of like still and like coy, but like their inner beast is just like, yeah,
Yeah.
you know? And it turns out his jelly is really
Uh-huh.
big because he's like his fantasy jelly is really big. I clarify because he's worked
Massive.
so hard to like,
Yeah.
guard it with this like shield that when he finally lets it down, it's like a monster.
Yeah. Oh
I
my.
think that's what happens in this episode. This is what I would do
I
anyway.
think yeah. No, what an that's an epic episode. Uh
Yeah.
let's continue. Let's continue. Um let's say let's say that you're the same school nurse. You're in young again. You sense there's some kind of disturbance in the basement of the school. So you go
Ooh.
down there and
Mhm.
you open the basement. It's full of like these jellyfish, like stingers. They're like floating around and you're just like, ah, you're getting rid of them. And
Mhm.
Inpyo, that guy that you like, he's also coming through with you, but you could see his aura shield. It's like these other jellyfish are sort of bouncing off of it. Like he's impenetrable, you know? He's
Yeah.
just like one of these
Yeah.
lucky dudes. Like nothing is gonna hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
You guys go into the basement. You find like a slab of ancient stone with like some
Ooh.
words written on it. And he opens it, and there's like some intense aura, like pool of energy just like shooting out from it. And all the students in the school start laughing hysterically. They're like out of their minds crazy. And they're all
Whoa.
running upstairs to the rooftop, and they try to hurl themselves off the roof. What do you do?
Oh my God. Dang. It's like the aura is like a cult leader and it's like brainwashing everyone to jump off the roof and kill themselves. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, I
Mm-hmm.
would have to go into the stone because that's the source. So I'm going to jump
Yeah.
in there, and turns out it's this endless
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like
Yeah.
Geronimo, like skydiving down through this well, and like I like
Yeah.
enter probably this like different dimension. I see a different
Uh-huh.
dimension here because where's this like
Yeah.
cult leader hiding, you know? Um,
Uh-huh.
you
Uh-huh.
know, and it's like the cult leader that's like sort of melted away, and like all that's left of this being is like maybe like
Yeah.
I feel like a little pinky finger, you know, like
Uh
cut off pinky. And and like I'm like searching the depths of this well for this like something, looking for a clue, and then finally I spot this like cut off finger, and I'm like
yeah.
and it's like all this like the big like aura thing is like coming out of that little thing, that little pinky finger. And I'm like, "Oh my God," and it's
Yeah.
so powerful that you know what I have to do?
Yeah.
I have to convert, like
What?
I have to morph into one of my jellies. You
Yeah.
know? Like one of my jellies that's coming out of me, I like
Uh-huh.
morph into it so then I can like slither
Yeah.
around to get to the little pinky guy because the pinky guy, I'm too big. So I have to morph into a jelly, slither underneath him, and I fucking eat the
Yeah.
pinky. I eat him.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh. And
Oh my god.
I eat the little pinky finger, and now that aura that's coming out of him, it's all inside me. So I start to
Oh.
like suck all of that aura back into me. And slowly my jelly morphs back into the school nurse. And as I'm like sucking the aura, I'm like swimming back up the well, you know? and and then like I have good intentions. So
Mm-hmm.
the aura that's coming out of me actually, you know, telepathically tells all the kids, no, this is not a good idea to jump off the roof. Like, no, your life is worth living.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to do your
Yeah.
math homework.
Yeah.
Like, all those thoughts like keep coming back. And like you see all the kids like one by one being like, oh, in young, you know, and as I like
Yeah.
come up, each one is like saved, like each breath I take, like every student's like, no, my life is worth living. And
Yeah.
like
Oh my gosh.
I saved the school once again.
Yeah.
So
Did it again.
duh.
Yeah. Hello.
Shot it on
What
16
else did you
millimeter.
expect? Yeah.
Yeah, I had to
Um,
do it.
that was beautiful.
Thank you.
You had to do it, and you did it. Okay. Wow, that's gorgeous. It was like, wow. I was like, she's taking me on a journey, and I'm there. Yeah, this is great. I like this ride. Okay, okay, okay. Last question.
Okay.
Let's say you got it correct. This well is definitely a cult energy well, and there are
Mm,
certain people who also have this shamanic sort of uh intuition. Like those
mhm,
people are attracted to that aura.
mm,
Basically, it's like an energy pool. It's this very
mhm,
seductive energy pool.
mhm,
And anybody who is of weak constitution or like are very weak morally or
mm.
they're insecure, those kinds of people, they're very like attracted to that energy source, and like it makes them high and crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
so you sense that there's definitely like an energy battle taking place, and you are of good intention, like your goal
Mhm.
is to help students. That's why you're a school nurse and all that, right?
Yeah.
But you have a friend. She's a dear friend to you. You guys talk every day, right? She's a
Mhm.
close friend. She's also a shaman, and
Okay.
she's somebody you trust. But turns out
Yeah.
she has been leading this negative cult energy people collective. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and she's been waging this battle against you this whole time. What do you do?
Well, I feel like the source of this revenge from her against me, I think comes from our past. Because in high school,
Mm.
I took her boyfriend. Um,
Oh.
yeah, I did a bad thing. Every human is flawed. We're
Mm.
not all perfect. And I think I need to make it up to her, you know?
Mhm.
Like, I need to somehow either like ask for forgiveness or like, make it up to her somehow. So I think
Yeah.
what I would do is, well, there happens to be, I have another friend who has this like time machine. And
Uh-huh.
so I get the help of him. He's the English teacher, and he loves
Yeah.
he loves helping me out whenever I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, listen, Jack. I don't know what
Mhm.
he's an expat. Um,
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, we got to go back in time to high school where I feel really bad. I think the timing was off on the boyfriend thing. I should have waited or just not done that at
Yeah.
all. And
Yeah.
can we go back? And so we go back to high school prom. And I'm there. It's like the
Yeah.
16-year-old me, and it's the 16-year-old her. And her
Yeah.
boyfriend, this was the night when her boyfriend was like, making eyes and hitting on me.
Uh-huh.
And I was like,
Yeah.
so that moment comes where he's like, hey,
Mm.
what's her name? Um, what's her name is in the
Uh,
bathroom.
Eunyoung.
And Young.
Eunyoung.
I'm
Yeah.
in Young though. My friend is in the bathroom,
You're
my date.
Eunyoung. Oh, yeah, your friend's in the bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I've always really only liked you, and when it actually happened,
Oh,
I kind of fell for it. And I was like, "Oh my god,
wow.
because no one's ever liked me like that before and like profess their love." But I knew in the back of my
Mhm.
mind it was not the right thing because he was dating my friend at the time. So in this instance, I
Yeah.
correct it. I go, "Hey,
Mm.
thank you for sharing your heart, but this is not cool, bro. Like, not a cool way to go about this. Like, you're dating my friend and she's in the bathroom. You can't do this behind her back and then make me look bad. And you know what's going to happen? She's going to
Mm.
freaking like start an evil cult later in the future and like ruin my life. So back off." Anyway, and then I throw like this red punch in his face. I like make it super clear to him that there's no way this is going to ever work out. And then me and
Yeah.
Jack bounce back in the time travel machine. And
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was it.
Yeah.
Suddenly, the kids are like back in their classrooms. No one was like trying to kill themselves. And I was like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I see my friend, and she's like baked a, this like incredible um, spicy Korean dish that I really love. And she's like, "Oh my God, where have you been? I've been looking all over for you. I made this for you, and we're gonna have lunch in the park together." I'm like, "Oh my God," like it never happened. Like she's a whole different person. So
Mm.
that's that's what I would do. Go to the source of the problem, the source of the pain.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's it's very Eastern medicine of you to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right
Yeah,
half
yeah,
of the
yeah. I love it.
continent.
Exactly. Yes. I love
Mm.
it. That's it. Those are the flashcard questions.
Oh
Thank
my
you
God.
for answering them. So good. Incredible. Incredible. So many journeys. Yes,
So many
yes. Love it.
journeys. It's what I'm here
Yeah.
for, the journeys.
Um, yeah. That's what we're all here for. But no, I'm super excited for your show next month. Um, we could plug it. What's the show called?
Yeah, the show's called Until Death, and it's at the Elysian Theater, in like it's on the border of Los Feliz and Silver Lake. Sunday at 9 o'clock, Monday at 9:30. Doors open a half an hour before. Yeah, and tickets will go up pretty soon, like next week. I'll post on my Instagram. Yay!
All right, amazing. Yeah, I'm super excited for that. I am super excited for your 16 or 72 millimeter movie.
Yes.
And yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for chatting with me
Ah,
today.
this
This was
was
super
so
fun.
fun.